Let's just get in an overview as well with where the cities are today and also where the best areas to buy in. So this is just my property clock in July of basically 2025, so not long ago. And you'll see basically here, just to give everyone a quick summary, 12 to 3 is downturn, 3 to 6 is stabilization, 6 to 9 is upturn, 9 to 12 is boom, 11 to 12 is a winner's curse phase of the boom, which is when things are quite euphoric and it's gone up so much that, some people think it can't lose. But you can clearly see here that, your Adelaide, Perth, Sunny Coast, Goldie and Brisbane are all well into the boom phase. Look, Brisbane does have a bit more to go than a few of these others. And the reason being is because you've got a bit of a better diversified income and your fundamentally strong areas actually still have a bit to go as well. But on the flip side of that, in your stabilisation to your upturn phase, really, you got Hobart, Wollongong, Sydney, Central Coast, Newcastle, Geelong and Melbourne. No doubt my number one draft pick is Melbourne on that. It is literally just turning into its upturn phase, done nothing for a number of years, and it's our best performing market longer term. So not much can really go wrong there if you're buying at the very bottom of the cycle. So that's kind of where we're at with all the cities. Pretty obvious where you should be parking your money, in my opinion, unless you need to live in one of the locations that already boomed. So obviously there's each their own, but to me, that's really, where I'm kind of looking at. And I'll get into the actual parts of the cities that are kind of your best areas. So I'll start that with my number one draft pick anyway, and that's Melbourne. Your inner west, you've got predominantly Maribyrnong and Hobsons Bay council regions, particularly the ones with villages and higher median income or gentrifying areas. They're your best areas. Your inner east is basically I'd say basically right out to probably Box Hill down to Burwood and into the city from there. Starting from about Hawthorn Q. All of those areas quite good between there. Obviously a high price point, so that's something to consider. Your inner cities mainly, I'd say your Yarra and Moonee Valley Council areas, certain suburbs there, very high income suburbs are good. Try to get a detached house if you can. If you can't, at the very least, it needs to be exceptionally well located in those areas. Other than that, your inner south, southeast is basically your parts of Stonington and your Port Phillip Council regions. Those areas are quite good. Basically Port Melbourne right out to about Caulfield, I'd say Elwood, really good in that. All of them haven't done that much. Obviously high price point as well, but good areas in that. Inner north, your Brunswick East, Alphington, right out to kind of Essendon, Aberfeldy. That area is good too. No, don't go too much further north than that. And finally, your Bayside. Bayside, I'd say though, just for everyone, be a little bit careful, just simply because some of these areas actually in COVID, because they were locked down, did go up about 50 or 60%. So don't buy in those suburbs. That's my summary of Melbourne. It's my number one draft pick, and that's the areas you should predominantly look at buying in. Let's get into Geelong. A little bit of a smaller city. Think of it as a microcosm of Melbourne. For those around Australia, I'd consider Geelong as the Wollongong of Melbourne. It's about that far for Sydney-siders, but has the income demographics of Newcastle. Best areas in Geelong is your inner city, so it's your Geelong West East, Geelong, the kind of around there, and well-positioned surrounding suburbs. So, I mean, Breakwater, Thompson, some pockets of Newcombe, some pockets of North Geelong are all good. If you have under 500k, some parts of Corio are okay. Just be very careful. But that's Geelong. It's not an area I'd recommend people buy if you don't know it very well, or Melbourne. Like, it's these areas you really need to know them back to front, because there's some of the best parts of Geelong, like even in, for example, Geelong West and East Geelong, there's just areas I wouldn't touch in those suburbs. So it's not a case of just throwing a dartboard, buying in the suburb and saying, I've got a good buy. It doesn't kind of really work like that. So just consider that as well. Newcastle, it's a bit of a more funny one, but the easiest way for me to describe it is predominantly your best areas are Ward 1 and Ward 2 of the Newcastle Council plan. So your Ward 1 is kind of inner city, inner west, so it's right out to about Mayfield West from the city. And your Ward 2 is kind of from the city as well, but along the beaches and up to about Adamstown Heights. That's kind of where your Ward 2 is. These are all the best locations. Your Ward 1 really is your gentrifying kind of city suburbs. Your Ward 2 is your beaches and sort of more affluent sort of neighbourhoods like the Hill, Bar Beach, Merriweather, the Junction, those kinds of areas. So that's Newcastle. Again, don't throw a dartboard at Newcastle. It won't work. an area that I know back to front. But anyway, that's Newcastle. Central Coast, so bit of a very spread out area. It's a bit different to a lot of other areas of Sydney. Not a lot of people really know it that well, even if they're from Sydney or travelled there. The Central Coast runs pretty much right up to about Norah Head, Doyleson, right down to basically the Hawkesbury actually catchment down there, and it's very spread out, and it's not all locations are good. So the areas that you really want to buy in are close to the major corridors. If you want to find out where they are, you just need to do a bit of research on government websites. You'll find it quite easily, and key lifestyle areas. So these sorts of areas, like lifestyle areas, a good example is Terrigal, Avoca. That's a good area of it. The entrance to probably Shelley Beach is another. They're lifestyle locations. Your corridors around that where the jobs are basically the areas you want to buy. It's not as simple as throwing a dartboard again at the Central Coast. It's quite complicated. So get someone like me who actually knows what they're talking about to do it if you're going to do so. Let's get into Sydney, and quite a large area, lots of suburbs. Eastern suburbs, Lower North Shore are definitely your best buys. They lead the charge. They have the best capital growth. Inner West is also very good. That's your cheapest price point you're really going to be able to buy in. So definitely consider that in terms of buying in Sydney. It's a good market to consider buying in. I quite like it, and longer term great growth there as well. So just consider that for Sydney. Upper North Shore, Northern Beach is also quite good. Just be a little bit careful which suburb you're buying in. There does tend to be a little more stock in some areas. So just consider that as well. There's a freaking fly pissing me off here, so sorry guys, my eyes are sort of going, but anyway. The Sutherland Shire inner south and southwest are also not too bad. Sutherland Shire, be careful because there is quite a bit of land in some areas and quite a bit of, I'd say, demographics that I don't think suit very well. Inner south and southwest are quite good, so that's kind of like right out from Alexandria. Probably right out towards, say, anywhere maybe Belmore, probably right out to maybe Bexley, Cogra kind of location as well. A bit of St George there too. So, some areas to buy in here, but Sydney, this is predominantly for Sydney-siders, for people that need to live here. I'd much rather you go to probably Melbourne or Newcastle, somewhere like that, or maybe even Geelong, if it's for an investment, because you got much better yield. A lot of these Sydney suburbs, you're going to struggle to even get over like 3.2% yield, and it's just simply because houses are so expensive in this location. So just something to consider for everyone there as well.